Hello and welcome to another tutorial here at Capo Productions. My name is David. Man, I am so excited about today's tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at how to play Glimpse of Us by Joji, which is just an incredible song. I'm sure you agree, that's why you're here to learn how to play it. So today's tutorial, I'm going to do a really simple stripped down fingerstyle version of the song, just a few bass notes and the melody. So if you're new to fingerstyle guitar, you really are in the right place, kind of beginner, intermediate level. You should find this not too difficult. I'm going to split this tutorial into two sections. The first section is just going to be a cover, so I'm going to play through from beginning to end. And then the second section is going to be a full kind of breakdown tutorial with the tabs below. So if you want to be able to follow that, maybe jump ahead to that section, and you can do that by looking at the timestamps below. If you want a PDF of the music, check the description below. That'll take you to Patreon. But truth be told, you don't really need it. You can basically use this tutorial to get everything that you need and use it as a reference to memorize the piece of music. And if you're not sure, just come back to it and you'll be fine. Of course, if you want to support the channel, Patreon's the way to do it. And you can also subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, let's jump into the cover. All right, let's jump into the tutorial. Now, the more perceptive amongst you will notice that I don't have a capo anywhere on my guitar. If you want to play this song in the original key, you're going to have to put your capo on the first fret. I think it sounds great without one. You can decide what you want to do, but for now I'm playing it just open. Standard tuning, so you don't have to do anything fancy to the strings either. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to play through each of the four sections once with the tabs below, and then I'm going to break down each section. If you've had enough of me waffling, just jump ahead to the next section. All right, let's look at the intro to start with. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that we're in 6/8 times. You want to kind of get that swaying feeling, which works really nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to be counting that kind of in that meter in 3 time, and that really gives that cool swaying feel. The other thing that I would suggest as a little hint, if you're sort of new to guitar, really stick to the fingering below. Here I use first finger, second finger, and first finger, and pinky finger. You might be tempted in, where is that? The end of bar 2 to get that 5th fret. Maybe use your third finger. Try and stick to positional ideas with your left hand, meaning that your first finger is going to pick up all the notes here on the 2nd fret, second finger on the 3rd fret, third finger on the 4th fret, and pinky finger on the 5th fret. And you're going to stay in that position unless something changes. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then here in bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to change position and we're going to actually jump to the 7th position, meaning our first finger is going to pick up the 7th fret on the 2nd string. And then we're going to change positions again to the 5th position, holding the 5th position until we move back to the 2nd position. Yeah. And I really think that is pretty straightforward. There's not too much to worry about there. Again, making sure you stick to the fingering, and you'll be all good. All right, let's look at the verse. And then that leads into the pre-chorus. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the verse. Now, in my opinion, the verse is the hardest part of the song, and the reason for that is that there are all of these little intricate, snappy rhythms that you want to get super clean. And in order to get them super clean, you have to practice very, very slowly and get the left hand doing all of the things that it's supposed to. So from bar 9, it starts off, you know, deceptively simply. You'll notice above the notes in bar 9, I've included some annotations for the right hand. P stands for thumb, playing the bass notes, and M stands for middle finger, playing the second string. And the idea is that you alternate, right, with your right hand, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, to make your right hand super efficient. With fingerstyle guitar, always better to alternate with the right hand instead of just using your index finger over and over again, which is just completely stupid. If you do that, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend you, but it is dumb. You should stop doing that. In bar 10, we have this little pull-off. This is where things start to get a bit tricky. If you're not used to pull-offs, you're going to play the note on the 2nd fret and then drop your first finger kind of off and out away from the string to sound the open string without actually physically plucking it with your right hand. So good little exercise to practice there. In fact, practicing those first 3 notes of bar 10 as an exercise is a really good thing to try and get that right. So again, nice and slow practice and you'll be all set. Going into bar 11, we kind of have like a simplified A minor shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then bar 13. And this is, again, where we have just some unusual rhythms. They're not necessarily too hard to play, but it's important to slow down to get a feel for it. And then it goes again into this little hammer-on, into bar 15, where you have this really pretty kind of like a G2 chord. Then you're going to let that ring for the course of the next bar. Going into bar, what is this, 17? Into this small A minor shape again, kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then. And then that runs into bar 25, which is the pre-chorus. So yeah, these parts are really important just to pay attention to the rhythms and also the right hand annotations. If you follow those very strictly, it's going to have a big impact on your technique. You're going to be a little bit more better equipped when you're playing repertoire that's harder fingerstyle stuff, which is really the goal when you're playing these types of arrangements. All right, enough waffling. Let's jump into the pre-chorus and then we'll look at the chorus to close things out. And then that runs into the chorus. So yeah, the bridge is really just a few bars and it's not too difficult to play. The main thing is making sure you're using the right fingers. You want to be in 2nd position here with your 3rd finger on the 4th fret so that your 1st finger is ready. Oftentimes people just be like, oh, I'm just going to use whatever finger feels nice or whatever finger is strongest, usually the 1st finger. Really try not to be lazy here. Allow the context of what note comes next inform the decision that you're going to make on what finger to play. So if you think about it, your 3rd finger makes a lot of sense here because you're going to the 2nd fret, and that way you can reach back without moving your entire hand. So efficiency is key, right? Then to the 4th fret, open string, and then here, this doesn't actually matter too much about which 2 fingers you choose. You can use your 1st and 2nd finger, your 2nd and 3rd finger, or your 3rd and 4th finger, whatever whatever floats your boat. And then you're gonna play the open string and hammer on. Importantly, when you do this hammer on, a lot of people just be like, and then just let the sound die. You wanna let that note ring, hold it, just let it sing, right? That's what the voice is doing, it's singing. And on the guitar, it's quite difficult to keep those notes singing, but you wanna try your best to keep them going. And then that runs into the chorus. All right, let's take a look at the chorus. One of the great things about the chorus is that although there are some positional changes, it's not quite as frantic as the verse. So the rhythms are a little bit slower and smoother, and you have time to get from one position to another. So let's jump into bar 29. Well, before bar 29, you have these two open strings, which is what kicks off the chorus, and then bar 29. And this really is just your first and your second finger doing all of the work on the first and second frets, but on the second and third string. So you have this A minor type shape again. Then here, importantly, we're going to play these two open strings, let them ring, and while they're ringing, our left hand is going to jump up to the 7th fret, and we're going to lay down kind of like a D major shape here. That's what you want. You want a D major shape chord on the 7th fret, 7th and 8th fret, right? And then your third finger is going to slide up, letting go of the other two fingers, the outer fingers, and it's going to slide up to the 10th fret. And then 8th fret, open string. This is an important shape to get because it repeats, which you'll see in a second. Bar 33. Again, we have the same thing. Open strings. Very nice. Letting everything ring over each other. Exactly the same, except this time it does change. Midway through bar 36, we have this 2 to 3. Open A and open E, 5th and 1st string. Going kind of to a D major shape. Open D and F sharp. Then we have my favorite parts. You have to let this ring and then change position. So once you've hit that 2nd fret, you're gonna let it ring, but you've got time to jump up to the 7th fret. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 10. And you wanna make sure you're playing in position here. First finger playing all the notes on the 7th fret, second finger playing all the notes on the 8th fret, and pinky finger playing all the notes on the 10th fret. All right, I'm gonna do that nice and slow because this is also a good thing to practice slowly. So you're gonna play the open G with your thumb, 7th fret. You can play with your ring finger or your middle finger if you like. 10th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret. When you get to the 8th fret this time, you're gonna slide up right back to the 10th fret on your 2nd finger. And then open strings, sorry. I can't quite see the bass note here. So that's bar 40, and then to wrap things up, 3, 2, open, which is pretty straightforward. And then here, we're gonna go to the 3rd fret and slide up to the 7th fret, playing the open D, the 4th string bass notes, then to the A, and then open G with 2 high Gs to finish off. And that really wraps it up for the song. Of course, there's a second verse and a chorus. There's also a little interlude, but I think this is really the main part of the song. The second verse is very, very similar to the first verse. So if you wanted to, you could just simply play through the whole thing again. And that would be a great exercise or even a performance. If you were playing for a concert or something, there's like people go crazy to hear this song. So well worth learning. Okay, everyone, that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this has been helpful to a lot of you. If you're still sticking around, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.